this week, especially when we're recording this as we speak, all of fall sports are being canceled.
Yeah.
Collegiate fall sports. Who knows what's going to happen with the pro sports?
Such a sad time.
Yeah. And for athletic trainers, this is our profession. You know, it's like, but at the same time, I think in the athletic training world, it's a very tough time because if there's no sports, then there's really nothing for us to do, you know? Yeah. And I think, you know, whatever it is, like podcasting or getting information out there, I think this is a time for athletic trainers to come and bind together and support each other, but also it's a good time to try to advocate for the profession because still we're in 2020. And I will admit, I said this before too, I didn't know what athletic training was until 2008. Yeah. I wasn't your high school athlete that got injured and saw the athletic training, but you know, it's 2020 now, and then still the athletic training profession is not well known as a healthcare profession. So that's the last thing that I wanted to just bounce some ideas off of you is, you know, I know for myself, I'm very proud to be an athletic trainer. I owe it to a lot of great athletic trainers before me, a lot of mentors, a lot of colleagues just like you. And the athletic training profession, I think there's a lot of people that just care, you know. We had my classmate actually, Jay Christensen, right? That was his thing, like what would he say about the athletic training profession? And he kind of put in words basically saying that all your athletic trainers, they're in the profession because they care. We're definitely not in it for the money. I mean, I don't know,
Jay's got some pretty cool stuff going on, man.
But I mean, what can you share about, you know, being an athletic trainer yourself, but especially during these times with sports being canceled and kind of everything's up in the air until further notice? What are some of your insights on that?
Yeah, and that's, you know, my heart goes out to a lot of the DOE, a lot of the ILH athletic trainers, collegiate athletic trainers, NFL, everybody, right? It's, you've had to, I always say, navigate uncharted waters. And that's something that nobody, I think, ever wants to do. I don't think we ever saw ourselves trying to figure out where's the top of the water. You know, I think we're like mid-level looking up and we're still trying to figure it out. I will say that it is important to understand that there's going to be a time when we have the surge, and when all of that stuff because it's not going away, it's just on pause, right? It's kind of just stowed away a little bit. But when that ramps up, we're going to have our hands full, right? We're going to have a lot of things to do. It's going to start with, right now, I think, prepping individuals and parents and coaches to say, hey, just because your sport is on pause doesn't mean that you are on pause, right? It's, you still got to do what you're going to do because it's going to come back. And when it comes back, you don't want to be 2 miles behind the rest of the pack, right? So what can we do in the meantime? It is getting innovative. It is sharing knowledge. And as athletic trainers, we still need to be on the injury prevention front, right? Injury mitigation. We're going to see people come back in a deconditioned state, you know? So how do we educate folks on, you are going to be deconditioned if you do nothing? It's common sense, but it may not be something that they think about, right? They could be down in the dumps mentally because their sport got canceled. Or you have at the high school level, right? You have a high school athlete that is D1 caliber that was going to play football, and they're also going to play basketball, right? Or they're going to wrestle, right? Now what do you do, right? Because now everything's going to be so compressed. So we're going to have a lot of things to work on, but I think it's to our benefit that, one, we think as a forecaster and we can kind of see these things ahead and be a little bit more preventative and proactive. Education's big. Being in the ear, within earshot, and being available, right? Being available to what are some trends that maybe we don't know about in Hawaii that other places across the world, across the nation are doing that's effective and proven. So staying up on that, I would highly encourage a lot of our athletic trainers to work on staying relevant, you know, whether it be helping in a different arena or knowing that you can volunteer in a certain area and be relevant within your organization. That's huge, because what I don't want to see is people starting to get laid off and cut jobs, because again, in this state of Hawaii, people have worked so hard before us that have laid the foundation to put 2 athletic trainers at a high school, right? Some athletic trainers on the mainland don't even have one. They don't even have one for a district, which is scary. That is scary. You know, so I talk a lot with friends in like LA and California, and they're still struggling to put people in positions where I think we need them. So we're very fortunate, but we also still have to prove worth. We still have to show value, and I think that's one way of doing it is how are we making our presence known by being advocates for injury prevention and mitigation?
Yes.
You know, and this is a good time for people to actually hit the reset button to figure out,
yes.
you know, it may not be physicality that you need to work on. It may be your mental game, you know, maybe dialing in your nutrition.
Yes.
You know, school's going to be back in session as well. You're going to be at home. You know, are you an emotional eater?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
that's we have 4 weeks until they're actually potentially back at face-to-face school. So there's a lot of ways I think we can dabble in because they fall within our scope, right?
Yeah.
We can counsel on a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
We're just not prescribing, hey, here's an X amount of nutrition that you need to do. It's what are you thinking about? It's plant the seed, really.
Yep.
You know, but I think that's big. I think a lot of athletic trainers across the board, you know, we're all in the same boat. Strength conditioning coaches are in the same boat.
Yes.
Physical therapists are in the same boat, doing virtual.
Yep.
You know, nobody thought we'd be doing a lot of virtual telehealth for this long. And so I think for us coming together and sharing that information and how are we approaching it, there's so much we can do. And I think there's so many means that we can deliver that.
Yeah.
It's just finding, you know, how are we going to effectively do it?
Yes.
You know, that's big.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a crazy time.
It's definitely crazy and uncertain times, and just like